Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we look at a graduate scheme which is benefiting businesses in North East Lincolnshire, and we explore the options of a new stadium site for Grimsby Town Football Club. And my guest tonight is Leah Nietzsche, station manager and general grand fromage of Estuary TV, here to talk about the channel as it approaches its second birthday. Welcome to Estuary News, I'm Hugh Richards. Now it's time for the news headlines.
At least 3 men have used a ladder to break in through the roof of a Hull bank. Robbers stole a large quantity of cash from the Newland Avenue branch of Lloyds at around 4:55 p.m. on Tuesday. Staff were at work at the time, but no one was injured. The gang fled in a grey Nissan Qashqai before dumping the vehicle near an alleyway in Loveridge Avenue. The Cardiac Risk in the Young charity has almost raised £90,000 in the name of an East Yorkshire teenager who passed away 4 years ago. Josh Fell died suddenly from undetected sudden arrhythmic death syndrome while playing football with his friends. Now his family are raising money in his honour and are attending a reception at the Houses of Parliament on Wednesday evening.
The purpose of the event is for MPs to come along, see what the charity does, the great work that they do. There's a 20th year, by the way, that the CRI's been going, and try and get on board, get MPs on board to try and get the screenings put into schools, funded by the Parliament themselves.
Schoolgirls in Cleethorpes have been given careers advice by a Tornado Squadron commander. Nikki Thomas became the first woman in charge of a Tornado Bomber Squadron earlier this year at RAF Marham. She came to Holy Faith Catholic Academy to encourage girls to consider an engineering career and say they can achieve their dreams with hard work.
Really, I'm just here to help encourage, speak to some of the guys and girls at the school and just find out what they want to do and encourage them to achieve their dreams. It's massively important. It doesn't matter. I don't mind if they decide to join the Air Force or not. If it just encourages one person to go out there and achieve what they want to, then that's mission achieved.
And Hull's aviation heroine Amy Johnson will be celebrated in a new project to mark 75 years since her death. A moth for Amy will see decorated moths be installed around the city in 2016 in a similar fashion to Larkin's turds. And that's all your news for now. You can get in touch in the usual ways by calling 01472 31553, emailing news@estuary.tv or by searching for us on Facebook or Twitter. Bye for now.
North East Lincolnshire Council is assisting businesses in providing paid internships for graduates to help young people get a step on the career ladder. It's a bid to keep talent in the region so that people aren't tempted to move further afield to land their dream job. Erica Barker went to find out what the graduate programme involves.
When it comes to deciding on what path to take after school, university seems to be in the sights of many. But to land that first job, some graduates, after studying in our region, are deciding to move out of town. North East Lincolnshire Council is working to tackle this by funding the Graduate Advancement Programme, offering businesses a £1,500 contribution towards the wage costs of employing a graduate on a 3-month internship.
Too often we've lost, our local people to places like Manchester, Leeds and London when they get their degrees, and this is an attempt to support them to stay in the area, and also it provides businesses with an opportunity to bring in new blood, new thinking, entrepreneurial thought that they wouldn't hitherto have.
One of the businesses to get on board with the scheme is IT company LCS in Grimsby. I asked 2 of the graduates who've gained employment through the programme what young people can bring to the table.
Fresh out the box, I think, we're like a blank canvas, so if a company takes somebody on like us, then I guess in a way they can kind of form them into what they want them to be. But I think a lot of graduates as well now can kind of have their own ideas as well to bring to companies.
So creativity, knowledge, aspiration, ambition, all of that.
And the director of the LCS group is a big supporter.
I think it's a really good idea. I think in the small to medium-sized business sector, the sector that we serve mainly, a lot of business owners are really kind of busy on dealing with their own day-to-day business issues and don't really have time maybe to think outside of the box and how some of these young people can really help them in their growth efforts. I think that the graduate programme in Grimsby, the GAP programme, because it was publicised and we were directly contacted and kind of prompted, it kind of made us look at it and think again about this as an option. So I think that really these programmes need to be pushed further and harder into businesses to kind of get their attention, and the results of doing it can be amazing.
Since its launch last year, 13 internships have been created in the local area, with 8 in every 10 graduates being kept on, gaining a full-time position, stimulating the economy while encouraging diversity in business. Erica Barker, Estuary TV.
Still to come tonight, we find out your opinions on the 6 proposed sites for the Mariners' new stadium, and we have all the local news in the sports. 2 years ago this Thursday, all eyes were focused on Grimsby and the launch of the new local television station on Freeview 8. Estuary TV was the first to be switched on after support from the community and local MPs. To tell us whether it's working and how well the channel's doing, Leah Nietzsche, executive producer here at Estuary. Leah, thanks very much for coming all this way.
Hello, yes, it was a long way.
How is the channel doing? Is it succeeding?
It's doing really, really well at the moment. From our 0 standing start at the 26th of November 2013, we now have approximately 154,000 homes watching every week. That's about 400,000 viewers. And we are building our programming, building our advertising and sponsorship, and it's going well.
Excellent. 400,000 people.
A week, I know.
That's
no pressure, Hugh.
A bit frightening, isn't it? Where are we selling the advertising? Because our only source of revenue is advertising, selling the advertising time. Our job is to shepherd an audience to the advertisers, as it were, for it to be a commercial operation. Who's buying our time?
Well, just on one point, commercial isn't our only source of funding. We've got lots of different sources of funding. So obviously one of them is selling our news to the BBC, which we do on a daily, weekly basis. And also we're a community interest company, so we do some grant-funded projects, we do training, a whole range of different things. And then there is commercial as well. Commercial is building. Because we've come from a community interest company background, commercial wasn't our specialist area, and we've learnt over the last 2 years, and now we've got people coming to us for advertising, sponsorship, advertiser-funded programming. There's a whole range of things that people can get involved in, and you know, local television is a whole new offering to the local business market, and that's something that people have had to learn about, and now they're developing an understanding.
But it's not unprecedented. Local television is unprecedented, but local media and advertising, there have been local newspapers for hundreds of years, local radio, and they're great success. They're fantastic pieces of British culture, really. So television's just taking a little while to get off the ground, is it?
It is, and that's because obviously, you know, when you advertise in print press, you advertise for 1 or 2 times in the same way. There are a few words and perhaps a phone number or a website. Radio is a little bit nearer to TV, but with television there is so much opportunity, and quite often people who have investigated TV before, whether that be regional or national, have looked at the prices and said there is no way we can get involved, it's too much money. But the great thing about local TV is we've positioned ourselves so that if you're a micro business all the way up to a multinational, you can afford to get out to the kind of audiences you want.
Basically, we're cheap.
No, we're just trying to be good value for money.
Okay.
I mean, we have pitched ourselves lower than other local media at the moment, because we want to make sure that people have got the confidence to come to us. And the results and testimonials that we're getting from advertisers and sponsors is fantastic. That tells us that we need to raise our prices, which we're doing now. So, you know, it's all there for the taking. It's just people have got much more ability to be creative with television. And so that's the fun bit of getting involved in TV.
You mentioned other sources of income, apart from the commercial. Where does that money come from?
We have some commercial training money that comes in, some that might be perhaps lottery funded, grant funding, or EU, a whole range of different things. You know, as I said before, our basis is a community interest company. So key to what we want to do is working with communities, individuals, to use TV as a way to build confidence, to get people back into the employment market, and we're doing quite a few things like that at the moment.
2 years ago, on the, what was it, the
6th.
26th of November 2013, I remember there was a big event here. We had a big opening night. Patricia Hodge came along and made a speech. I remember interviewing her. Had to get the light just right. How were you feeling that evening 2 years ago?
I can't quite believe it's 2 years ago, in all honesty. It was a bit of a shock, to be honest, because we just sort of, used it as an ordinary production day, and little did we know that the whole country's press, radio, national newspapers, national TV would descend upon us.
Some people were quite snooty, weren't they? The Guardian, I remember, covered us in a very snooty manner.
Yeah. But, the national print press will get a bit snooty because, we're a new kid on the media block, and potentially we're competition for them, and we are. And
they're quite rightly frightened of us, I suppose.
Yeah, what we've got to remember is that obviously the way that media industry is set up in our country, in many countries in the Western world, is that they're in a very strong position and they want to protect that.
Leah, we'll come back and talk about this a little bit more after the break. Join me then when we find out your views on the proposed new sites for Grimsby Town Stadium. Where will it go? And we'll bring you all the latest local sports news. Welcome back, you're watching Estuary News. Still to come, we find out your views on the new sites proposed for Grimsby Town Football Club, and we have the latest local sports news. Still with me in the studio, Leah Nietzsche, executive producer here at Estuary. Talked about the advertisers bit there, Leah. Who's the audience? What sort of demographic are we getting?
We're starting to get through data that tells us quite a bit of information. So we've got, our demographic is slightly biased towards males at the moment. We do get a range of the full sort of age group from 16 plus, but the majority of our viewers are 35 plus. And we've got generally Bs, C1s and C2s. So that's your managerial, skilled and skilled manual workers.
The intellectual elite.
Well, let's say that there aren't many A's in there, but that it does actually correlate with Freeview and Freeview channels. So
the point is that everybody watching us has got enough disposable income to buy whatever anybody's advertising on Estuary TV.
They have, and if people call us and talk to people who've advertised, they'll find that there's some phenomenal results that people are getting from local TV. And, not wanting to make this an advert for Estuary TV at all, of course.
Why not? It's our programme.
Yeah, that's right.
We've got some big name advertisers as well. It's not just local businesses, very welcome as they are, but some of the big national ads are on our channel as well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we've got Unilever, Procter & Gamble, so, all of the adverts that you would expect to see on national channels. They're buying local TV advertising as well. So, when the national advertisers are paying for advertising, that they've done the sums and they know that it's worth their money and their while advertising on the channel.
What's the future for Estuary? What's coming up?
We constantly develop new programmes, as you know. So we're looking at new ways of doing things. We've got some exciting new series coming in the new year. So we're looking at potentially motoring programming, property programming, more sport, a whole range of different things.
Righto, okay. One of the criticisms that I hear around town and around the Humber is that we have too many repeats.
We have a fair amount of repeats, a lot less than we used to. But if you look at national televisions, with the amount of multi-channel choice there is now, I defy anybody to say that they haven't seen the same version of QI several times in a week. Yeah. So, I think, yes, there are repeats, but, television is a very hungry beast that needs filling, morning, noon and night. And what I would say to those people who are talking about repeats is that's great because it shows that you're watching a lot and you're wanting to watch more, and stick with us because the more that we make, the more that will go on the channel.
We have quite a large amount of our programming is self-generated. We make it ourselves. It's not bought in from other sources. How are we doing compared to the other local television stations in terms of our actual production output?
It's difficult to compare because when local television was set up, everybody wrote their own broadcast commitments. So our licence with Ofcom commits us to certain amounts of programming. Our licence guarantees that we will always have no less than 2/3 locally made or locally relevant. Now, we don't make all of our local programmes. We actually do commission and buy-in from other local producers as well. So our channel will always have a minimum of 2/3 of local content on it.
Leah, thank you very much. Everybody knows how to contact Estuary TV if you'd like to advertise. Leah, see you in a year's time.
See you soon.
For years it's been talked about, but it's never happened. Grimsby Town Football Club have been planning to move out of Blundell Park in Cleethorpes for years. A few years ago, permission was given to develop a new stadium at Greatcoats, but finances changed and it was scrapped. Now they're wanting to move. This time they have their eyes on land near Peaks Parkway. A consultation has come up with 6 sites on land at Laceby, near Morrison's Supermarket, Euro Park, near the A180, Greatcoats, Freeman Street, Peaks Parkway and Dockside in the centre of town.
Good idea. I think the one where near the crematorium is best. That's my opinion.
Okay, why do you think that?
Because it's more space. It's handy to get out of town and everything.
I'm a bit confused about Peaks Parkway because is it down the main road?
I think it's off the main road, yeah.
Which will cause a lot of hassle really, won't it? I mean, that's supposed to be a road that goes straight through to save a lot of hassle in the middle of the town. So if they build it there, that's defeating the object, really.
I think Greatcoats will be better for the town. It's a much nice, more rural area, and I think you'd be in a comfort zone. Definitely in a comfort zone. I don't like going down Grimsby Road town.
I think any regeneration for the town's fabulous, and I think a lot of people love the sport, so yeah, good stadium's great. I think where it is, you mean the football stadium? I think where it is out now, because my grandson goes to Grimsby Town, I think it's a bit out of the way, terrible for parking.
You could put it in any of the places, but it's got to be in a convenient place.
There's a great deal of space on the docks, and it's reasonably central. So you've got to utilise that space, or you let it go to rack and ruin.
I think Peaks Parkway is probably the best one.
Okay, why do you think that? Is there any concerns about traffic?
Well, I think you got your traffic where it's probably pretty central, isn't it? It's pretty central, and I think that's probably. I think that, mind you, I think any other one they're going to refuse anyway. I think they've got the set. I think the mindset is on Peaks Parkway.
Joining me as usual for the daily look at the news, Erica Barker. Erica, what have you found?
Hello, Hugh. I'm going to start off then a story in the Hull Daily Mail. This is Hull City Council has spent £1.4 million on hiring agency staff since the start of this year. They're looking to cut that down. The authority is looking to drastically reduce it says in here, the amount that it does spend on temporary staff through covering sickness or providing specialist skills that workers there may not have. It says the amount spent on agency staff is up from £1 million from that of the same period last year.
What, people just being sick more often or needing... How specialist can you be driving a bus?
Well, it doesn't particularly give the facts and the figures in here. It is a general overview of those figures with the fact that they do need to reduce it. Obviously, you know, it's interesting to think about when it comes to those specialist skills, what areas they may be in, how that may impact the community of Hull. So that's probably something to keep an eye on.
Very well. Still a splendid public transport service, though, in Hull.
Do you get it often?
So occasionally, of course I do. What next?
Okay, this is a serious one then. So this is within the Grimsby Telegraph. Security contractors at the Beach Coma in Humberston have been suspended. This is as investigations continue into allegations that the drummer in the Britpop band Cast was injured in a late night incident. This happened on Saturday night. He posted pictures on social media. Quite horrific pictures really of his injuries, and he claimed that some of the security staff were involved in that incident. So
it's a bit much if the bouncers are beating up the talent, isn't it?
Well, it's I mean, it's a very popular venue, isn't it? And we're not saying anything about the venue.
No, the Beach Coma was great.
But as far as that story goes, that's been moved on to
time for another one.
To that, them being suspended. Okay, so Hull Daily Mail. Do you know that 66,000 people in Hull suffer from stress?
I did not know.
No. So quite scary figures there. The running courses to try and help tackle this, combat this, is saying that there isn't enough awareness around. More needs to be done to talk about it. People don't feel comfortable talking about it. And it's a lot, it's a massive, well, it's a bigger thing than people are maybe aware of.
Is that a higher proportion of the population than you'd find in other towns? Is Hull a particularly stressful city?
I don't know.
It's...
I don't have the figures to compare it to other cities, but within this article, within the Hull Daily Mail, the classes run by the City Healthcare Partnership, they're running these sessions where people come along, friendly, informal, and to try and battle that.
Sort it out. Erica, thank you very much for coming along. Time now for the sport.
Scunthorpe United manager Mark Robbins says he was delighted to pick up 3 points in their away win at Bury. Paddy Madden opened the scoring from the penalty spot in the first half before ex-Iron striker Leon Clark netted the equaliser. But Luke Williams curled home a stunning free kick 5 minutes from time to give United the points. Elsewhere, North Ferriby United missed their chance to hit the top of National League North as they suffered a 2-1 home defeat to leaders Nuneaton Town. Tom Denton scored their only goal. Hull City captain Michael Dawson looks set to miss the next month of action with a hamstring injury. He picked up the knock in the 1-1 away draw at Bristol City, and we hope we'll get reaction from manager Steve Bruce in tomorrow's bulletin. Grimsby snooker player Stuart Carrington has qualified for the second round of the UK Snooker Championship. He beat Liam Highfield 6-4 to secure a place in the next round, starting on Sunday where he could face Judd Trump. Carrington's win featured a high break of 108. A new Hull Kingston Rovers signing Thomas Minns is determined to make his mark in pre-season and doesn't want to fade into the background of the competitive Robins dressing room. That's according to the Hull Daily Mail. The 21-year-old, who became KR's first signing of the next season from Leeds, is now in his third week of training at the KC Lightstream Stadium. And that's all your sport for now. If you have a story for us, you can call 01472 31553, email sport@estuary.tv or by searching for us on Facebook or Twitter. Bye for now.
That's it for tonight. If you have a news story for us, or if you want to advertise on Estuary TV, then visit our Facebook or Twitter pages. Details on the screen. Email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Rix Petroleum, your local family-owned heating oil supplier this winter.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Thursday, periods of rain with some brighter intervals, feeling windy with highs of 11 degrees Celsius, and Friday, very windy with periods of some heavy rain.
Rix, servicing the region's oil boilers this winter from a name you can trust. Get in touch at rix.co.uk or call us on 01482 838383.